We're live again. Yeah, so it is Monday, the January 19th. It's about 22 degrees today, and it's 2026. Yeah, and over the last weekend, I helped my dad out with the shoveling of with the digging, because we were sticking to the storm drain because the plumber once came out, but they couldn't find anything wrong, in that area before we had to dig it up. I mean, the plumber could do that too. They would come out with a bobcat, but they wanted $7,000, so that's why my dad thought might as well do it ourselves, because it's you have to pay $7,000 when we do it ourselves. So because I most certainly don't have that kind of money. I mean, $7,000. I mean, that's expensive just to dig up a storm pipe. I mean, yeah, that is a little expensive. I do think it's a bit ridiculous, but it is what it is. That's why we did it ourselves. We didn't actually pay $7,000 because, as I said, we don't have that kind of money. We just started digging and we found the pipe, but we just had to find what's wrong with it. So we're not doing the next thing. We're not doing until next weekend, because obviously my dad's working all week. So that's why we have to wait till next weekend to continue. So now there's a pile of dirt out there, and obviously the hole is covered, because if it were to rain, the hole would fill with water, and then we're not going to be able to dig if it's full of water. It's following. When we're careful. Yeah, well, we did break one hose. My dad did break one hose, but that was for the sprinkler system. It wasn't like a pipe or anything. Because the last thing you want to, when you're digging down there, you do have to be careful because here the gas and the electricity is still above ground, and the water it comes in from the streets, so it's not in that area. Usually around there in the ground is where the storm drain pipes obviously are, and sometimes the sewage pipes can be there too. And the last thing you want to dig into is the sewage pipe, because obviously the sewage is what you flush down the toilet, like the pinko and poo. And the last thing you want to do is dig into that and break the pipe, and because that starts splashing about, you'd get sewage splashed all over you. It'd be pretty disgusting. And my mom would not let us in the house if that happened, because obviously she would lose it if someone trod that in the house, sewage in the house, because it would stink. I mean, obviously, so then we'd have to get cleaned up outside, because there was a garden hose out there, but I need to do a sprinkler. It's a good thing we didn't dig into something like that, because that would be disgusting. Oh God, it wouldn't be too good at all. Of course, I was out there for a bit, because yesterday on Saturday when I started, that was around the afternoon, but yesterday I did it most of the day. But we did take a few breaks. A lunch break. I just took a break. That was the first break. It was about 15 minutes. That break to take dogs for a walk. But fortunately, I think I was out in the sun a bit too long, because I did get slightly sunburned. So I think I was in because my shoulder skin is slightly burnt by the sun. I think I was out there for a bit too long, because I wasn't wearing a shirt or sun cream. So that wasn't very smart. So now I've got sunburn. I don't think I've ever had sunburn before, but whenever I touch this, it actually hurts a bit. It's like it burns, even if you touch it lightly, because it is sunburn. I feel your skin's burnt. So apparently that can last for about a few days to a week. So I'm now stuck with a sunburn for a while until it heals. Now, that was unfortunate. And down here, I don't know if you can see it. I've had this for a while. I had like skin stretch marks. I don't know where those came from. And of course, for a very long time, as long as I can remember, I've had a cyst in the back of my neck. I mean, it hasn't been bothering me, but for a very long time, I've had that for a very long time. For as long as I can remember, it's always been there. Like it's never actually gone away. It's been there for a long time now, for maybe like a year or so. I don't even know, because I don't remember when I got it. But I've had it for a long time. I don't know where it came from, but it's still there. I mean, it's not bothering me or anything, but if you wanted to get rid of it, you would have to, have it removed by a doctor or professional, because you do not want to squish a cyst, because there's usually, bone filled with bone material or, pus. And if you squish that, it will go everywhere inside of you, and then you get infected. That's why you don't want to squish a cyst, because then you get infected. It all goes into your bloodstream, and you get infected. It can cause an infection. You can get really sick. That's why you don't want to do that. That's why you want to let a professional do that. But I didn't get it. I mean, because I didn't get removed because it's not bothering me. I mean, it's just out. I mean, I don't feel it at all. It's not bothering me. So when I was at because we have a cockroach infestation in the house. you know, because it said that I'm the one that's lured them in there because I always had food all over the floor. And you can't see it right now, but there's literally crumbs all over the floor. And I just vacuumed this week, last weekend on Saturday. I had just vacuumed 2 days ago. And look at this mess. I can't even eat without making a mess. I mean, seriously. There's literally crumbs everywhere. I just vacuumed it 2 days ago on Saturday. I just vacuumed this last weekend. Really? I'm going to have to come in here with the vacuum again. And it's all over my chair as well. Really? And you're telling me I've been sitting in that? It's probably all over my ass, of my underpants. I've been sitting in that. Oh, man. I only just vacuumed 2 days ago. This isn't happening. Well, it's good thing we got a new vacuum now because our other one, or the clip, what was it? The clip for the. No, because that's the thing, this, that extends the vacuum pole because otherwise you have to bend down. It's not good for your body and spine because you can. Otherwise, if you bend down too much, you end up like my ex-farm buddy with a hunchback. You're walking like this, and I wouldn't want that at the end of my, when I get old, you wouldn't want that, because then you'd be walking like this. You wouldn't be able to, bend back because your spine would have developed in that way. That's why you don't want to bend down too much because otherwise you're going to end up with a hunchback. That's why you adjust the vacuum like that. But we have a Bosch vacuum we've had since we were in Austria. And now all of a sudden, when I was vacuuming one day, the spring popped out, so the pole wouldn't stay up anymore. So it kept going down while I was vacuuming because the spring popped out, and I mean the cover was already missing. So that was so Dad had to tape the pole so it wouldn't go down. So now it doesn't go down anymore at all now that it's taped. So I've got a new vacuum because. It's time we get it replaced because that one, we still have the Austrian vacuum, and it's just sitting there in the garage because there can only be one vacuum in the cupboard under the stairs because there's already too much junk under there. So we keep our vacuum cleaning stuff, carpet cleaner. Yes, we also have a carpet cleaner. Yeah. We have 2 dogs. Our dog, she's 11, and my sister's dog is about 2 to be 3 this year in September. Our dog, she's well trained, but my sister's dog not so much. Because when you tell her to stop barking, you have to tell her that multiple times because she doesn't listen. Also, you want to make sure you take her out. You want to make sure you take her outside. Frequently because sometimes otherwise she does it on the floor and then she eats it. It literally eats her own poo. It's disgusting. And once, one morning last weekend, I caught her doing it. Because I saw she was coming from that corner, and then I saw a bit of poo there, and then I went into Mum and Dad's. I was going to go and tell Mum, and then of course I saw the dog on the carpet, on Mum and Dad's carpet, then, which is Mum's favorite carpet, my Mum's favorite carpet, by the way. She was eating the poo there. She was literally eating it. Oh, so disgusting. Our dog doesn't do that, but anyway, that's one thing she does. Apparently, she actually eats it. If humans, you don't want to do that because you can actually get sick if you eat your own poo. You can actually get sick. You don't want to because that's already food that's been digested. You don't want to redigest it again. You can get sick if you do that. That's why That's why I wouldn't be sure not to do that either. But honestly, that was just Anyway, this weekend we started the digging job because we had to that pine notes to dig around. Anyway, and then while we were digging, that photo it's on my Instagram, it's my private Instagram. I only accept people there that I follow, that I know personally. So, I don't just accept any follow requests there. So if I don't know you personally, unfortunately, you get just delete the request because I only accept follow requests from people I know personally. Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, that one. So then we walk in the hall, and they was saying a photo of me, and then he accidentally dropped his phone because he went to put it in his pocket, and then he missed the pocket and it landed on the ground. Luckily, it didn't land in the hole. And of course, the camera right above my window, so I was doing the job there, it's on camera because there's a camera right above my window. But it didn't catch that part because it was at 2:09 p.m. but there was no recording there, and it didn't record. But it did record the time when my dad went into the hole, and then he stumbled, he tripped. Luckily, he didn't fall, and he almost did, but he tripped. And then that time, the other part I recorded too, where he was putting the wood on top of us. We were finishing up at 3 in the afternoon, and one of the pieces of wood, obviously it was sturdy. As soon as my dad stepped on it, it broke, and a piece of the wood fell in the hole. So that wasn't going to work. So we had to leave it as it is because we couldn't find another piece of wood. So we had to leave it as it is, unfortunately, as we couldn't find another piece of wood. So, yeah. Anyway, and so that was the digging job done. And well, we haven't done it yet, but we've already found the pipe. We just had to find out what was wrong, because there's this thing where when you knock on a pipe, if it's hollow, that means it's fine. But if it's hard, that means it's clogged. But you can only do that if there's no dirt around it. So we haven't got rid of the dirt around it yet, because we only just found it yesterday. We only just finally got there, because we had to dig 1.2 meters or 120 centimeters. That's how deep it is in the ground. There's a storm drain it comes out on the corner, next to our house, that corner parking lot. That's where the storm drain is. That's where it comes out. There's that cover by the letterbox, because there's always, I always keep away from that, because I've been told that wetback spiders live down there. And well, male wetback spiders, they're fine, but the female wetback spiders, they're the ones that are poisonous. They're the ones that are poisonous. So they're dangerous. Makes fun, but which is my granddad here in Australia a long time ago. When my mum was 15, her dad had a wetback spider in his boot, and it had already bitten him, so he had to have some like an antiseptic or something at the hospital. It was pretty bad. So you have to be careful. Because wetback spider bites can be dangerous, because the female ones are the ones that are poisonous. They're the bad ones, not the male ones. Anyway, I always thought that the container, that thing that covered that's had to do with the sprinkler system. But I only found out yesterday that that's actually where our main water is, because it comes up on the street. That's where you turn the water off. That's the main water valve. That turns off the water to the house. That's what's down there. That's how you turn the water off to the house. That's the main valve. That's where you turn the water off to the house. So all the taps. Because you need to know what that is in case there's a leak somewhere, because otherwise you can have water going absolutely everywhere. That's why when there's a leak in a pipe, or a damaged pipe, and there's water leaking, well, you need to know where the main shut-off valve is for the water, because otherwise you're going to have water going absolutely everywhere. Then you end up having a pool in your own home. And houses, they come by, usually have multiple floors, so our one has. But the thing is that multiple floors, when there's water, when it's getting flooded on top. I've seen someone that it was an experiment though. They didn't, they weren't actually breaking houses. It was an experiment. So because water also adds weight, and if on one floor there's on the top floor, if there's too much water, the floor can't handle it, and it just collapses because it's too much weight. Because water also adds weight, so you have to be careful when you're on the second floor. It's flooding, because if that collapses and you're standing on that floor, that would be pretty bad. It wouldn't be good, and there'd be a big hole in the ceiling. Yeah. Anyway, so there's some dirt out there, and there's still a pile of dirt out there. It's coming up because we haven't finished that yet, so it's still construction. That's just I do still have those cones, but I didn't use them because they're too light and they would blow away in the wind. That's why I didn't use the cones, because they're too light and they would blow away in the wind. That's the thing. That's why I didn't use my cones. That wasn't because there's kind of construction cones, but they're too light and they would blow away in the wind, because they're basically toy cones. I've had them for a long time. I still have them in the drawer here. Did I even put on my? No, I don't think I put my cologne on yet today, because I don't remember. Well, I mean, you get to watch me, because it's in my room here. So I have obviously this is my cologne here. It's a creeper, but so take the lid off. And apparently they have this at Chemist Warehouse. And apparently this is actually a $30 cologne, by the way. But the only Chemist Warehouse that's near us is in Majura Park, and they were out of stock of this cologne. Not sure when they will restock, but I guess a lot of people like this cologne. I mean, it smells like a man. It does smell really good. I mean, even if I would, sure, else we want to smell. But I mean, you're just watching the live stream. You're not going to be able to smell this, because you'd have to be in the same room as me, obviously. So I'd like to put on my shot like this. Just hope this doesn't burn, because my shoulders are sunburned. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so I can actually safely put this on my shoulder, because I don't want to put something on because I do have sunburn on my shoulder. I don't want to put something on my shoulder and then it starts burning, because that would be painful. Because that's why you have to be careful, because sunburn, because you've got sunburn, when your skin burns, some things that you don't want to, there's some things you don't want to put on your shoulder because they will start burning. It's not a good idea. That's why, that's have to be careful when, because I don't want, luckily cologne doesn't do that. Thankfully, it doesn't burn. No, because I don't want to put it on there and then it starts really burning my shoulders because of the sunburn. That wouldn't be good. But anyway, I was a bit, because I wasn't wearing a shirt, so I was out there for a bit too long, and I'm literally red on my back. I don't know if you can see it with my 720p camera, but I'm quite wet at the back from sunburn. This didn't go all the way down my back. It's only around the top, thankfully, and around my neck. Yeah, that's what happens when you're out in the sun for too long and don't put on sun cream and you're not wearing a shirt. But the thing is, it was like 18 degrees or 20 yesterday, and it wasn't that hot. That then again, I guess I should have put a shirt on, but I didn't want to start sweating. I would get too hot, and usually in the summer I'm always in my boxers because it's always hot in the summer. That's why I don't wear a shirt or my trousers, because it's always so hot. Even shorts are. Of course you can see that there's the nipples, but I don't think YouTube thinks. I don't know if that's I don't think showing your nipples is inappropriate on YouTube. I'm not too sure, because I know showing your private parts is inappropriate on YouTube. That's why I don't do that, because YouTube's not the platform for that, and I don't want to get in trouble. Because I always keep these videos private. Some video because I make some videos sometimes, but they're always private. I don't talk about them. But one day I did accidentally once upload it to YouTube, and they actually called the police, and then I had to go down to the police station and explain myself. Yeah, it wasn't too good. So you don't want to know, because that stuff is called when you're uploading stuff of you being naked, that's called porn, and that's not, YouTube's not the place for that. And you can get in a lot of trouble if you upload that kind of stuff on YouTube, because that could call the police. You can get in a lot of trouble. That's why you don't want to be uploading stuff like that on YouTube, because that's not the place. YouTube is not the place for that. But they have lots of policies. That's why you can't upload anything graphic like gory on YouTube, because that YouTube's not the place for that. But Happy Tree Friends is a cartoon. I think that's just an exception, because sure, it's gory, but even if it was too gory, it would have been removed. But please, it's a cartoon, so it's not in real life. But if it was in real life, then YouTube would take it down, because it's too graphic. Otherwise, there's a system they have, when you like, when your video gets, when one of your video, for example, when your video gets taken down due to copyright, you get something called a copyright strike, and that expires within about 90 days. But if you keep getting strikes, if you get two copyrights, so then if you just do that again or whatever, if you do something else that involves copyright, then you get another copyright strike. But then if you get 3, then your account gets terminated, your channel gets terminated, and then you can't create another one because of past account issues. So that's why you have to be careful with with copyright on YouTube, because it's not always allowed, and sometimes you can actually get copyright strike, because you can't just upload other people's copyright without their permission, because it's obviously illegal. That's the whole point of copyright. Because you can get in a lot of trouble. When you upload someone's copyright and the owner chooses to take it down, well, they're allowed to, because they own the copyright, so they can request to take it down if they want to. But it's not up to you, because you can't. That's why you have to be careful, because YouTube, when you upload a video on YouTube, it goes through, that processes it in HD or whatever resolution it is, and afterwards that it checks for copyright, and you can't abort that. It always checks for copyright. So let's say you're uploading a song and you change the pitch, for example, like like I do sometimes. Well, YouTube detects that regardless, because YouTube is designed to detect copyrighted music, for example, even if the pitch is changed. It's designed to detect it regardless. So that's not a way around. I don't think there's any way around, to get around copyright, because even if you change the pitch, YouTube still detects it regardless, because it's designed to detect it even if the pitch is changed. That's why you have to be careful. Then you have a few options, like you can erase the song or replace the song. You can also dispute, but you have to be careful with the dispute form, because it has to be, because disputing copyright is serious. You know, it's a serious form. But if you misuse that form, you can result in your account getting terminated if you misuse that form. That's why you have to be careful. You want to fill out the details seriously, and have a valid dispute reason. Because if you misuse that copyright form, a dispute form, it can result in your channel getting terminated. So yeah. Because I host my social media on Linktree, and one day I was on my office website and found that my Linktree had been taken down because of a breach of community standards. And I don't know what I did wrong, because all I did was host my social media on there. I didn't have any inappropriate links on there. So I don't know why it was taken down. So I had to open an appeal ticket, and explain. I wasn't rude or anything. I just explained that there must be some mistake, and because they only set up breach community standards, but they never tell you what exactly the cause was for the ban. They don't tell you what the exact cause was. It just tells you that you breached community standards. I mean, that's what it told me. But I've got my Linktree back now. They've unbanned it, thankfully, because obviously it was a mistake. Because all I have is it's public social media links like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I don't have any inappropriate links on there, so I'm not sure why it got taken down. Why it was banned? Why it was banned for breach of community standards? Because I did not have any inappropriate links on there. So that's why that didn't make sense, because I didn't have any inappropriate links on there. So I'm not sure why it was taken down. But it's been unbanned now, so obviously that was a mistake. I mean, it's possible maybe someone just went. Can you actually report Linktree sites? I'm not too sure. So I wonder if you. No, I don't think you can. I mean, you can share it. Oh wait, there is a report button. Okay, yeah, there is a report button, so it makes sense. Maybe, I mean, it's possible that someone probably false reported my Linktree, and it did end up getting taken down. That's probably what happened. I mean, it's possible that someone just false reported it, who didn't know what they were talking about. Yeah, please don't false report my social media, because it's not cool. Because it actually did result in my Linktree getting taken down because of a breach of community standards. So yeah, you shouldn't be reporting, false reporting other people's social media. That's not okay. You shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, because with false whatever, then that actually resulted in my Linktree getting taken down because of a breach of community standards. Yeah, false reporting is not okay. Yeah, because I was lucky enough to get my Linktree back. And luckily, because I opened an appeal ticket, obviously, like any other normal person would, and you got unbanned. Yeah, honestly, yeah. But and then again, and again, don't be false reporting people's social media, because that's not okay. Because when you report something, I mean, they believe it. Obviously, that's why even if you do a false report, they end up believing it, because it's because you're reporting something is serious. Obviously, that's what report is. It's not a joke. That's what I always believe, because I don't think they've ever had a false report before, or I don't know. But that's the only thing I can think of, that my Linktree got false reported, and that's why it was taken down. I mean, it's possible that it was false reported. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. That probably maybe one of my because I have 276 subscribers. It's possible that one of them false reported me. I don't know why. Yeah, because I don't know any of my subscribers. Well, some of them are actually my accounts, or my co-owner's account. Yeah, but I don't know the other subscribers. The rest of them, no. I don't know any of them. That's why you have to be careful, because you can get false reported, because you don't know, because some of your subscribers are complete strangers you've never even met. So you have to be careful. And nothing that can happen is, it's happened to, I've seen this YouTube video where it's happened to a kid before as well. But sometimes, some followers, not everyone, not every, follower or subscriber is a nice person. And sometimes, that somehow that, and then what happened to that kid is, one of his subscribers or followers got his home address, and then they called the emergency number, and then sent a SWAT team there, and that's called swatting. It's happened quite a few times. Because prank calling emergency numbers is illegal. Yeah. Or it was also called a bogus call. One of the guys was actually arrested for what he did. He actually got arrested. Yeah, because obviously, yeah, it's happened a lot of times where a person gets swatted on live stream. It's happened a lot of times because of the subscriber, because someone gets the home address and then calls the emergency number. And I call, because the thing, what happened was this, so the follower got his home address right. So then that follower then called the emergency number and then told them that a mother and child were going to hang themselves, which clearly wasn't true because the kid was just live streaming like any normal person. And and they believed that. And of course, that's when the SWAT team showed up. And while he was live streaming. Even the mother was confused when she saw the entire SWAT team at the front door. Yeah, because the follower literally said on the emergency call that a mother and child were about to hang themselves, which clearly wasn't true. But no one takes calls seriously, because that's why prank calling emergency numbers is illegal. The reason it's illegal is, and I even agree to that, is because obviously you'd be wasting their time, and because what if they have to get to a real emergency, and if there's a bogus call, you'd be wasting their time when they have to get to a real emergency, and then the person who actually needs help doesn't get help in time, and then they die. It's just that's why prank calling emergencies numbers is illegal, because it's a waste of that. You'll be wasting their time. When it's illegal. So even if you do that, because because since that happened, it's changed. The rules and stuff have changed. So even if you were to do that again, well, they'll recognize that and they'll tell you not to do that. They'll warn you, leave you a warning. But if you keep doing it, there will be there will be consequences. You would have police, at your door. I need to explain, because prank calling is illegal. And you have to explain yourself to two police officers at your door if you keep doing it. So that's why it's definitely that's why the rules have changed. You can get in a lot of trouble if you prank call emergency numbers, because it is illegal. Oops, I misspelled my type of there because I'm using on-screen keyboard. Teddy, please. Oh, sorry. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in Australia, prank calling emergency number is a serious criminal offence. Yeah, it includes potential jail time up to 3 years in the slammer. Oh my god! Yeah, and large fines up to $75,600, because as it wastes critical emergency resources. So because I'm here in Australia. In Australia, it's actually prank calling emergency numbers is a serious criminal penalty. I'm an adult. I'm 22. I'm an adult. So if you're an adult, you can actually you can get charged. You can actually have up to 3 years jail time. You can be you'd be put in jail for up to 3 years. You can go to jail if you prank call emergency numbers. You can actually get up to 3 years jail time, and then up to $75,600 in fines. Because obviously because you're wasting critical emergency resources. So obviously that's why most people would have learned their lessons. Because most people who did that would have ended up in jail. Because it's legal, because you'd be wasting critical emergency resources. What's my two messages? Anyway, yeah. I'm going to stream here, everyone. See you in the next one. See you in the next stream. Bye.